Welcome to New Delhi. The beach is a long way away from New Delhi, but it's full of people, lots of people. And so is India. The Grand Master goes to India, where lots of people ride bicycles. There are lots of cars, and they honk their horns a lot, and motorcycles, and all sorts of forms of transportation. And how do you fare, my Indian brothers, sisters, and uh, brothers, sisters, and all of you? All. Oh, I see a cow in the middle of the road. That's a big problem in New Delhi. Cows just wandering about. They can't do anything about it. But here we are. There are lots of people. And you think, how do you think, I'll rephrase that, how do you think you would do in New Delhi? You'd hate it, of course, as would I'm sure. I always used to think, I think from the time I was a kid, that I would hate to live in New York City. And I would. I always, there's just so many people, crowds, drive me nuts. But New York City once was deemed to be one of the loneliest places in the world. With 8 million people, how can that be lonely? Always surrounded by people. Well, New Delhi has more, a lot more. I don't know how many more. It's very busy. Busy. I have to cough. Oh, that fumes. Oh my God, there's a lot of pollution. One thing New Delhi has more than New York is pollution. And sunshine. And it gets hotter in New Delhi. But it gets colder in New York. Anyhow, how do you feel you would fare living in a city with 8 million people, constantly surrounded by people? I don't know. I do have a point. Because I don't like the crowds myself. And I'm sure there are people who have agoraphobia that don't want to leave their house. But in India, what are you going to do? Your house is full of people. So I don't think agoraphobia exists too much in India. You are a little agoraphobic. Oh my God. My sinus. All the fumes from the traffic. Okay. Yesterday when we went to the park with Bork, you were very concerned about the people by the swings, that they were judging you. Why would they judge you? I understand that because I have some of the same feelings. At least I don't think people are judging me, but I think it's correct. But you know what? People don't care. Did you ever think about that? People just don't care. I want to tell you something funny. You know when I brought um, to be named Bork over here and I picked him up like that? I went over and got him. Is that a surprise or what? Yeah, I went over and got him, put him in the little box, brought him back, and I was dreading that somebody would see me with him. What's wrong with that? That's a mental problem. Why? It's not like dogs are legal. Go. So I understand, but you can't let it guide you. You can't let it inhibit you or stop you. You just, if you have that feeling, just stop for a second, look around, and say, hey man, everybody's doing it. It's no big deal. And as soon as you have a thought like that, you have to think, that's not right. You know? Because it's not a normal thought. Do you remember when, I think it was house number 2 guy saw you with, uh, to be named Bork? He smiled. Did he look at like this? Oh, this weird, man. This is so weird. No, not at all. The people in the, did you see the people in the park staring at you, thinking, you look weird. Oh, well, that's weird. There's a little girl over there standing there with a dog. Right, I know. Now, what would be weird if you had, let's say, come over here. Come over. Oh, I'm picking him up the same way. Okay. There's my pet turtle. Yeah, my puppy turtle. Now, if you had a puppy turtle like this, or this one, and you were taking it for a walk over there, and you were stroking it, and you were, pulling it along, and it was going bumpity, bumpity, bump, and people started to realize that's not real, man. They would start staring at you and judging you. Well, judging you for your mental, wondering if there was something wrong. Actually, suspecting that there was something wrong. Yes. There's nothing wrong with you because you're real. Yes. So, pet dogs are fine. Pets, pet stuffy turtles are not fine. Now, another thing I'm a little bit concerned about is because Mummy said you just rest there a bit. Yes, I do have mental problems. She said you had, something went wrong this morning, and that you were fine last night, and then later on something clicked. Something, they say, went south. I'm wondering, I don't know, was it my note? Was it the socks I left behind? People always wonder these things. Did I do something wrong? I do, because I have mental problems. Like pet turtle. Yeah. So cute. We don't know unless you talk. Communicate. Communicate. It's always easiest not to communicate. When you're open, sometimes you get negative feedback when you're open. That's horrible, and it makes you angry. It makes me very angry when you're honest. But in the end, it's better that you do communicate and say, this is what the problem is. This is why I think I was upset. This made me upset. Maybe you don't even know. We don't know. Do you know? No. Turtle doesn't know either, so again, happiness to you. And goodbye, New Delhi.